Probably the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen. Probably the worst movie I've ever seen. I actually felt like walking out at the beginning. Like, I wasn't going to, but I was like bored and I wasn't enjoying it. It didn't feel like Star Wars. And I literally was thinking about walking out. I wasn't gonna, but I was like thinking about it. It was that bad. I just saw Rise of Skywalker pretty recently. I'm probably gonna upload this like day after, but I just saw it. It's Friday the 20th. And you know, I've had my problems with this Disney sequel trilogy. I did not like The Last Jedi at all. And Last Jedi really reinforced the problems of The Force Awakens, which was that it was a complete rehash of A New Hope. It wasn't a sequel. You can't call this the sequel trilogy, as it did not continue the story from 1 through 6. Wow, I cannot believe that. I'm just thinking about it, and there's a lot to talk about. This movie, there was a lot of problems. There was only one scene. There were, okay, I'll give it this. Like, there were, like, I was like smiling during moments. You know, we saw Wedge Antilles. There were other moments. I'm gonna get into that. There were moments where I smiled. I'll say it right now. So, the moments that made me like, you know, oh, was when we saw Lando. When we saw Palpatine, I was very, oh my god, like, it was I'll get into that. I'll get into Palpatine, but when I saw Palpatine the first time, I was like, oh my god. When I saw Luke Skywalker lift the X-Wing out of the water, that was amazing, with Yoda's theme playing, because Luke was never able to do that first, so for Luke to do that now, I really enjoyed that part. And probably the best scene of the whole movie was the Han Solo scene. Han Solo is my favorite Star Wars character, and I see Harrison Ford back for that role. That was inspiring. I had issues with, I thought that Kylo's redemption was very quick. I wasn't really a fan of his redemption. It was just quick and out of nowhere, but I like the Han Solo scene. I thought that was nice, having Han Solo back. That was just like my favorite scene, like just seeing Han Solo. With Kylo Ren, but like Han Solo, Harrison Ford, that was probably my favorite scene. The scene where, like, it was like a scene where I actually cared. You know, there were moments where I cared about stuff, like, but that was the only scene. The Luke scene just felt very shoehorned in. It just felt like, oh, like, Rey's gonna go to Ahch-To just so Luke could talk to her. And, like, I knew that, because, by the way, the leaks were 100% true. Like, I read the leaks, but I didn't really go that much into them. I was like, okay, like, whatever. I was like, the dagger is definitely true. The Wayfinder is probably true. But, like, the whole movie was the leaks. I was like, wait a second. Like, there's nothing surprising. Like, nothing in this movie really surprised me. It was just, like, it was just so bad that it was surprising. Like, it was so bad and so weird. Like, the whole, like, transferring of life and sucking the life out of was just so, like, it wasn't Star Wars. Like, that's not, like, I don't know. It just felt very weird and out of place and forced and, like, oh. And honestly, this is, like, exactly Return of the Jedi, just, like, bigger. It's like, I don't know. So, okay, so the positives are, the Luke Skywalker lifting the X-Wing, Han Solo's scene, Lando, That's pretty much it. Palpatine was horrible. The whole execution was so bad. Now, I was like, okay, I wasn't a fan of the sequels. And when we heard that Star Wars Celebration trailer of them bringing back Palpatine's laugh, I was like freaking out. Like, oh my god, the Palpatine is going to be in this. Ian McDiarmid, how, who, what, where, when, why? Then I started to think about it more, and I'm like, wait a second. If Palpatine is in the flesh, it ruins Anakin Skywalker's legacy. But we haven't seen the movie yet, and we could have Anakin, which we will talk about. But yeah, it was just Palpatine. The whole return was so bad. It was so bad. There was no setup of it in 7 and 8. And, you know, I've rewatched the Darth Plagueis scene so many times where Emperor Palpatine is telling Anakin, like, "Do you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis was the Lord of the Sith, so powerful, so wise, he could use the midichlorians to create life. He could even prevent the ones he loved from dying. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself." Now, that was a very, very important scene, because that was what started Anakin on his journey to the dark side, but it also gave us insight into Palpatine and his backstory. He had this master, Darth Plagueis, who learned how to create life, which maybe Plagueis created Anakin. We'll never know. Or, was there even... they didn't even say the name Anakin Skywalker, I believe. We're going to get into Anakin. There's so much stuff, you know. I'm just going to talk. Like, I don't have a script or anything. We're just going to talk. But with Palpatine, I watched the Plagueis scene because I thought they were going to go back on that. J.J. Abrams even said that scene in the opera where Palpatine was talking to Anakin about Darth Plagueis was his favorite scene. I saw an interview with that, and I was like, oh shoot, that's your favorite scene. That's probably how he survived. He probably used the midichlorians or whatever to survive. You know, he did what his master couldn't do. But we get no explanation. There is no explanation in the film of how he survives. It's so bad. And he doesn't even look like Palpatine. Like, his face, like, when I saw him, I was like excited, but I was like, at the same time, like, I was like, that's like a smile / like, which was, if you watch the cast reacting to the Rise of Skywalker finale with just facial emotions, that was like Daisy Ridley's face. She was like, So, his return there was no explanation, which is oh my god, you don't bring a character back to life and not explain how he survived. That was the thing, like, that's such a cheap move. It's such a cheap move. It's just like Snoke. You kill Snoke off without explaining his backstory, and you kill Palpatine off again with not explaining how he survived. I never liked the idea of Palpatine being in this movie. Like, when I heard the trailer and his laugh, I was excited because I knew we were gonna get some Palpatine or whatever. I didn't know he was gonna be alive, but, you know, even when we knew he was alive, I was hoping that, like, you know, just somehow they could explain it in a way and maybe do it in a way where it doesn't ruin Anakin's legacy, but they completely ruined Anakin's legacy. Anakin is not the chosen one. Rey is the chosen one because Rey was the one who defeated Palpatine. And, like, you know, people say that, wow, I'm just so flabbergasted by this movie. I'm just so shocked. I can't believe it came out, like, literally, it was yesterday or 2 days ago I made this review, final thoughts before the movie, which I'm going to rewatch again to see what I thought. And I know what I thought, but, like, it's, like, sad because I was so excited. Like, I didn't like Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but like it's Star Wars and like it's the final movie. And from what I've heard, like J.J. Abrams saying he's gonna tie in all the films, I just thought we were gonna get a satisfying conclusion. But this conclusion was really bad. It wasn't at all satisfying. I don't know if they like. It feels like maybe they tried to play it safe, but it was just like bad. It was just so bad. Like even though Force Awakens was a rehash of A New Hope, it was like good in a way. It was like somehow good, but this like the whole time I was watching it, I was not into it. There were parts that made me smile, but overall, I was not enjoying it because it was so. The movie is only 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it was so all over the place. There was so, and I knew that the movie was not good, or not that the movie wasn't good, but I started feeling uneasy because through the first 30 minutes, I was uneasy. I wasn't really into it. I just didn't feel it. But I said, give it a try. Just try. And I'm like smiling and trying. You know, there's some scenes I didn't like, but okay, I'm still smiling and I'm trying. Then there are things that happen, I'm like, but then I tried to smile. But the very opening crawl was it wasn't like 30 minutes in was good and then it just fell apart. For me, it was like the whole film was very, the jokes were really bad. Really bad. Like Star Wars has never been, well, George Lucas Star Wars, Disney Star Wars is all about the humor. Like there was more humor in this film than any other film, and I don't understand what tone they're going for. Like, this movie didn't really scare me. Like the trailers, like the D23 trailer where we saw all those Star Destroyers, that scared me, but like this movie didn't scare me, and it didn't make me laugh either. I don't think I laughed in this movie. Like there were some things like ha ha ha, but like not really. Like it was like Kylo Ren was like making these like he was like fighting the Knights of Ren, and he was like what? He doesn't do that. Like it was just like really weird. Oh my god! And they kissed. Oh yeah, by the way, this is spoiler review. Too late. They kissed. It was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That kiss was like, okay. That wasn't the main problem I had in the movie. It was like, okay, I guess, but it was like, I didn't really care. It wasn't like, oh my god, they kissed. But I wasn't like, I hate it. It was like, whatever. So they kissed. Okay. They're both dying, so I don't know. How did Kylo even pass his life to Rey? I don't get how that worked. That made no sense. And where did Rey get these healing powers from? I don't know where that came from too. That was so random. And it's like, if Rey can heal everybody, then she's invincible and everybody else is invincible. Like, that's just the fact. Now, Baby Yoda is a different story. Baby Yoda is Baby Yoda. Rey's Rey. So, with the opening crawl, this is where I had my first problem. The dead rises. Those were the first words. I'm like, okay. Keep going. And it's like a mysterious call or some mysterious like there are rumors or there's something that leads people to believe that Emperor Palpatine is still alive and in the unknown regions. Kylo goes to find him. It was like, I was so, oh my god. I was baffled that they did that. Because look, it's a 2 hour, 15-minute movie. I know you don't have much time to introduce Palpatine, to kill him off, do the whole shebang. But I thought there would be at least 15 to 30 minutes before seeing Palpatine. But we just see him right away, and it's like there's no setup to it. The setup is in the opening crawl. It's just like he's there. It's just like, oh, here's Palpatine. He's the villain. It was Like, I thought, like, even though we knew he was going to be in the movie, it's like, what if you never watched the trailers? You wouldn't know he's in the movie. And now you're just watching this and he's just, like, there. He doesn't, like, you don't mention, why would they mention his name in the opening crawl? That felt so wrong. It's like, there are rumors or something that Emperor Palpatine is still alive. Like, what? Like, where do you even find this information from? Like, and when Kylo goes to just see him, it just felt so weird. It was like really weird. It was so rushed. That whole opening scene where Kylo was fighting those bad guys felt super rushed. The leaks were true, man. The leaks were true. And then he gets the Wayfinder, goes to Exegol. I was like so surprised that was happening so early in the film. And I'll be honest, when I saw that teaser of Kylo going to meet Palpatine, I was like freaking out. That was a nice teaser. That got me super excited. But like when I saw it happen in this movie, it was so like bad. Because in the teaser, they make it seem like such a bigger deal. And this movie was like so predictable. Like, Kylo gets redeemed, obviously, and like, I listened to Star Wars Theory, who he liked it. I listened to his review, but that didn't change my opinion. I see a lot of people don't like it, so, but I like, it's not that I don't like it, like, I absolutely hate it, like, and like, even Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, like, said, like, he was okay for the first, like, 30 minutes. I wasn't. From the opening crawl, like, but at the same time, I tried. I was like, okay, look past it. I was like, just keep smiling, keep trying to enjoy it. And I was trying to enjoy it. Like, I didn't let what happened before stay with me. I was focusing on the next scene, and like, the next scene would happen, and it would be like so bad. Like, the jokes were just so bad. It was so forced. And they weren't funny. Like, they're all arguing, and everybody's telling C-3PO to shut up. Like, screw you, man. And why is C-3PO calling you guys his friends? There has been no sign in this movie that you guys are friends, because all you do is say shut up to him. And when he's about to get his memory completely wiped, like, you just are like, okay, let's do it. And that whole thing, they made such a big deal, like, C-3PO is going to have such an important role in this movie, all this stuff. He didn't do anything. All he did was, like, translate the dagger. I was expecting so much more from him. Like, why didn't R2 go on the mission? Why wasn't R2 on the mission? And, bro, they freaking, like, promoted C-3PO with the bowcaster and all that. Rey just gave it to him for no reason. Like, there wasn't anything, like, special about that. He didn't, like, go crazy or whatever, become a Sith. Like, red eyes meant nothing. Okay, so, Palpatine. It's bad. It was bad. I mean, like, I said the one thing I didn't want them to do, if you're gonna bring him back, I wasn't a huge fan of it in the beginning. After that TV spot where Kylo went to meet the Emperor, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But the one thing I didn't want was, if you're gonna bring him back from the dead, because he's gonna die at the end. That's just a given. I knew that from the beginning. Like, if you don't know that, then, like, of course he's gonna die. It's the final movie. If you're gonna kill him off at the end, after bringing him back to life, just for the final movie, then don't just have him in the very beginning and the very end. And that is exactly what they did. We saw him in the beginning, and we didn't see him till the end. That's just what happened. His appearance was very disappointing. I saw this movie once. I saw it at 12:45. I was going to see it again at 3:30, but I just didn't have it in me. I was just mentally, like, I couldn't process what I saw. I wasn't like, oh my God, that's so good, I have to see it again. I was like, that was really bad. I hated it as soon as I saw it, and I couldn't see it again. I'm going to see it tomorrow at 10:30, but, a.m. But, I'm seeing it with my friend who hasn't seen it, so I have to just like lock in my emotions. I can't, because I don't want to spoil it for him. But it's gonna be really hard because I just hated this movie so much. Oh my God! And like I wanted to. I uploaded a video. Well, I didn't, but I will. Like, you know, I'm making this video before, but I'm gonna upload a video where I expressed my feelings like 30 minutes before watching The Rise of Skywalker. And you guys probably saw my video final thoughts before watching Rise of Skywalker. But this is 30 minutes before watching Rise of Skywalker, what I hope to see. And I was like, I was excited. I said I was excited. I was so excited for this film. I wasn't really nervous. I was nervous, but like I was like excited. I was more like excited, and like I was nervous, but I was excited. The leaks were true. So this movie really wasn't surprising. Like, when I saw these leaks coming true, I was like, so like, oh my God, like what the frick? And where was Duel of the Fates and Battle of the Heroes? Didn't they say like every Star Wars theme was going to be played? I was like waiting for like Duel of the Fates to be playing during that lightsaber fight, but that was a very big lie. That was a lie. It wasn't John Williams who said that. It was his brother who said that every Star Wars theme you ever heard was going to be in this. And I understand if not every theme, but like where was Duel of the Fates? Like, I was listening so carefully and I didn't hear that. Like, that actually, I know that's not a huge thing, like, because that's just like the music, but like, I was excited for that because like, having Duel of the Fates in could have made it so much better because it's Duel of the Fates. Like, that could have like just like improved, like, you know, like just some nostalgia, some prequel nostalgia. I felt no prequel love in this movie, like none. Only like the Jedi who spoke, which we're gonna get into that because that was like I don't know. None of it really got me. This isn't a good ending to the Skywalker Saga. Return of the Jedi. Like, after watching this whole saga was absolutely pointless. It literally did nothing but ruin our old characters. Like, oh my God, we still like no scene, like there's no Han and Luke, no nothing, no Leia and Lando. There's just like nothing. It's bad. Return of the Jedi was the perfect ending, and I thought maybe they could do something that would just. But they end it with Rey and BB-8 looking at the twin suns, and Rey is now Rey Skywalker. Like, when she went to Tatooine, I knew she was flying to Tatooine, and like when she did, I was like, the leaks are true. Well, that was the end of the movie, so I knew. But and when Luke Skywalker was gonna grab the lightsaber, I knew that was gonna like, it was like the leaks were true. Luke Skywalker was in one scene. That's absolutely horrible. Okay, sure, he was in the end too, but that was like for 1 second. How was Luke Skywalker in one scene? It's called The Rise of Skywalker. Rey is the Skywalker who rises. That name is so horrible. And like, what's the deal with the future of the Jedi? Are they gonna make it? Is Rey gonna start a Jedi Order? This movie was just so like, it was just so random. Like, what are the stakes here? It's just like First Order versus Republic, like, or Resistance, whatever they're called, and then you have Emperor who just comes in. I really wanted to enjoy this movie, but it was very disappointing for me. Very disappointing. Like, I just didn't. Oh my god. Even like the Luke Force Ghost looked very weird. Like, you know, he had really long hair. He, I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to seeing Luke as a grumpy old hermit in Last Jedi. It was weird to see the new Luke just like they're two totally different characters. But like he was only in one scene. Like okay, sure, JJ fixed his character. Like thank you, but like you could have had him have a scene with Kylo Ren too. Come on. Remember when Luke said, I'll always be with you? Strike me down and I'll always be with you. I thought that meant that Luke would be like haunting him. Like you could have had a scene where Luke was like talking to Kylo. But no, you couldn't. Now, let's talk about Lando. When we saw Lando for the first time, hearing his voice, seeing him, it's like he never left. Billy D was great. But like, he didn't really do anything. Alright, sure he brought, okay, I guess he called in like a bunch of people to help the resistance. But like, yeah. I mean, there wasn't really that much you could have had him do because it's already too late. It's only the last movie. You're not going to make him the main character. I get that. You should have had him in 7. You should have had him in from the beginning. But you didn't. Or at least put him in The Last Jedi. But you didn't. So, I mean, I guess they... at least they had his character do something in getting more fighters for the Resistance. So, okay. But at the same time... It's like, come on, it's Lando, like, just something. The Leia scenes were good. It was definitely touching. It was sad to see, I got a little emotional when Billy Lauren, her daughter, appeared on the screen, you know, when they were together. That was pretty sad, but those Leia scenes were very emotional. But they were good, you know. I mean, you could tell like the dialogue was a little off sometimes, but it was okay. Then when she died, that was like very random. She just died, and then like, I don't know. That was just very random. And then like they showed like a flashback of Luke and her training as like when they were younger, and it was like, okay, why didn't we get to see these in the movies? Like, I don't know. CG was pretty I'm gonna watch it again, but when I was watching it, it looked like very obvious that they used younger CGI. I don't know. It looked like a video game. It's like Battlefront, but I don't know. That was like a little weird. That training sequence, but I mean, I don't know. I yawned a lot during this movie. I was just like, it just felt really weird and forced. That's probably the biggest word to describe this movie. Forced. Everything felt forced. No pun intended. Palpatine was forced into this movie because they needed a villain. They didn't have anybody. The plot was forced. It was too quick. Rey being a Skywalker was forced. Rey being a Palpatine was forced. Kylo Ren redeeming himself was forced. So much. And within the movie, there are problems that the movie sets up. For example, when Finn is telling Rey, when they're sinking in the quicksand, Finn's like, Rey, I need to tell you something, and then that's it. We just never get any mention of what he had to tell her. It sounded like he was gonna say I love you, but we never get any mention. And then probably because Rey kissed Kylo. All the Reylos out there are gonna go wild for that. I mean, look, if you like Reylo, okay, but I care more about the story than Reylo. I've never shipped Reylo because they were supposed to be enemies. They were supposed to be Kylo Ren freaking murdered Han Solo and did all this bad stuff. Freaking sliced Finn in the back, and now you're just kissing him? What? Why is he being redeemed? It was so quick, and just because Han came and said because if all Han had to do was just come, why didn't The Force Awakens, why didn't that work in The Force Awakens? Sure, I guess time passed by, he felt regretted by Han's decision, there was some stuff, but it just felt very quick. This movie also, I don't know, maybe it was just because it went very fast. Maybe it was because it went fast, but it was just one big blob of I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning was the middle. It was because Kylo Ren was just fighting these random people, and then he just found Palpatine. That's what should have happened at least 30 minutes into the story. You should have never brought Palpatine back if you were gonna just have him appear out of nowhere. I knew it. I had a very bad feeling about this. No pun intended. Once again, when we saw Palpatine's name in that opening crawl, I haven't watched that many reviews, but I hope people mention that. I think people should mention that. That opening crawl was not good. It was Emperor Palpatine is heard to be alive. What? You don't mention that in the opening crawl. You have to show that in the movie. Oh my god. You're just making it up. And why don't you explain how he's alive? We've had all these monologues of him saying, he even said I was Snoke. It was so cheesy. I was Snoke. I pretended to be him. Whatever. It was ugh. It's so obvious that they just were trying to answer questions. I was Snoke. It's so funny. And then what else? I don't know. What else did he say? Oh yeah. I am your grandfather, Ray. It was what? There was no setup. Sure, she does that jab in The Force Awakens, but so bad. And those flashbacks of her mother and her father. So Palpatine was with someone. He had relations with someone. And then he had a daughter. And then he just survived. What? It's just so, oh my god, it just felt so forced and so rushed. Oh my god, wow. I don't think I'm gonna like this movie, even if I watch it again. That's not the case. Hopefully I can watch it again and just hang on to the nostalgia moments. Be hey, Palpatine's there. But as for what he does, it's trash. I will never like what Palpatine does, but maybe going back in and just seeing him on screen again, I'll just focus on seeing him. But sucking the life force, it was so and then like just shoots lightning in the air. It was like so random. He just comes out of nowhere. He's just like hooked up to these machines. Like, this totally ruins Return of the Jedi. Like, oh my god. And like so many people are gonna say Anakin's sacrifice. Anakin. They'll say like Anakin he's still the chosen one. Like, he brought balance to the Force. It was just like 30 years where like. And then things went bad. But he brought balance to the Force that time. No. Palpatine was his master. Like he needed to kill his master. And he brought balance to the Force by killing his master. Sure, new threats are going to arise. But he killed the threat that was looming that saga. He killed the big threat who, like, that was his story. And you ruined his story. You know what I mean? He didn't bring any balance to the Force because we know that Palpatine survived. Like, if this sequel trilogy had a new threat arise and then Rey had to defeat him, okay. But Anakin's prophecy was to bring balance to the Force and kill Palpatine. Okay, sure, that wasn't in the prophecy, but that was what we were led to believe, that killing Palpatine was bringing balance to the Force. And, like, if you say any differently, okay, but I disagree. That is, like, and, like, most people will agree with me. And if you disagree, okay. But, like, at the same time, like, it's like, that's your opinion. I got my opinion. And in my opinion, having Rey defeat Emperor Palpatine is absolutely horrible. You just brought Palpatine back. You just randomly said, oh, he's Rey's grandfather. And now you have Rey kill him. Anakin killing him in Return of the Jedi means nothing. Anakin's sacrifice meant nothing because Luke was only going to end up as a grumpy old hermit. Anakin's sacrifice did nothing for him because he was just going to kill Luke. No, I mean, because Luke was just going to go onto an island and just... It meant nothing. Why did you have to Return of the Jedi is ruined? I just don't understand how you can make a film this bad. I thought JJ would have learned from 7 and 8. Like, I just don't get how he didn't know. Like, he made it, and like he I don't know, what, like, was he just having fun with this? Because he made it too funny. So, like, I'm not saying it was like funny, but like he put too many jokes in there. Like, didn't feel like it was being taken seriously. The tones were all over the place. It was like dark, it was funny, it was romantic. It was like, and it was so rushed. This movie really needed to take its time. Like, I wish it was like a 3-hour movie because, like, I'm not saying that would fix everything, but at least it would create a little bit of suspense. Like, there was no suspense in finding Palpatine, and there was no suspense in killing him. His death was absolutely horrible. All Rey had to do was get another lightsaber and bounce the lightning back at him. We've seen that before. That people have put lightning at Palpatine. Luke was shot at with lightning. Mace Windu was shot at with lightning. Vader was shot at with lightning. Oh, I'm thinking about the Star Wars Theory fan film. But like, how, and he like disintegrates. Like, I don't watch Avengers, but it was like Marvel. It was like Thanos. Like, just like, how does he, like, he just disintegrates? What? Okay, that was a horrible death. I was like this. I was like shaking my head. I was so pissed. I was like, that can't be how he dies. It was a horrible death. It was so bad, and it's like, it totally ruins Anakin's amazing, like, that scene was amazing. Anakin's Vader sacrificing himself to defeat Palpatine, but no, we had to bring Palpatine back so Rey could defeat him by just deflecting the lightning back at him. It was so bad. How do you disintegrate from that? Like, it's like you're just gonna keep, like, I don't know if he's actually dead or not, because, like, I don't know, you could just make something up. Oh, he cloned himself. Like, we just don't know. It was just so, like, Palpatine was just there. Like, like Palpatine had no role in the story. Like he was just so unimportant to what we saw. Like sure, like he brought the fleet of Star Destroyers. That was so random. It was just like, how do you even have all those? Like, and they all have Death Star tech. Like it's like insane because it's like so bad. It's like really bad. It's like it just felt so rushed. Palpatine was... Ian McDiarmid was amazing. I am not at all criticizing Ian McDiarmid. I'm criticizing the script and what was written for his character. If he had had a good script, a good character description, a good whatever, good lines, then it would have been good. You know, if he had said, I am the Senate, then maybe I would have liked the movie a little more, but he didn't say it. He said I am the Sith, but I wanted him to say I am the Senate. No, I'm just kidding. For real, now let's get into we're gonna just skip all over the place, but let's get into that finale. It was really bad. Really, really, really bad. The leaks were true. The leaks were true. It just... It's this finale doesn't land anywhere near Return of the Jedi. Nowhere near. I thought, maybe he could have done something big where okay, it was worth it. And you want to know what that thing was? This was the one thing. The one thing that could have redeemed this movie in some sort of light. This one thing, if only they had done this one thing, it could have redeemed the movie. And I was waiting for this for 2 years. And while I was watching this movie, I was like, please happen. Please tell me this is the moment. And I thought it was gonna happen. There was a moment when Kylo got knocked off the cliff or whatever, and you saw the camera was Anakin Skywalker thought. That wasn't a fart. That was my chair. I said it before, and I'll say it again. If Anakin I said it. If Anakin Skywalker isn't in this movie, I'm done. And I was done. I didn't I was willing to give it the whole movie. I was, I even though I didn't like the beginning or any of it, except the Han Solo scene and when Luke lifted. Okay, probably my favorite parts of this movie were when Han Solo came back. That whole scene. That was the whole scene. That whole scene I was invested in. The Luke Skywalker scene I liked, but at the same time, he just came in the middle out of nowhere. I thought he would be a more prominent role. He just came and then it reminded me of it didn't feel like Luke Skywalker because it was Last Jedi already screwed him up, and it just, I don't know, maybe the long hair or something. I wish he had cut his beard and his hair so he actually looked like Luke Skywalker. That's a little criticism, but it's hard to accept that character after what happened in The Last Jedi. But I have to admit, when he did lift the X-Wing out of the water, I thought Rey was going to do that, which would have been absolutely horrible. But Luke lifted out and you heard Yoda's theme. That was a good moment. I like that. And all the scenes with Lando. I thought Lando, Billy D. Williams really did a great job. That victory at the end, the victory celebration, where you saw, I mean, it was cool to see Endor. We saw like the Star Destroyers like crashing on Endor, and then Bespin. That was cool. But when they were all hugging, it was like, yay, I guess. But like, that's not better than Return of the Jedi ending. So don't try to be Returning the Jedi ending, or don't try to do better than that, or do a different style, because it wasn't better. You had, now with Anakin, Anakin's the chosen one. Anakin was to bring balance to the Force. Anakin was to defeat Palpatine, and he was not in this movie. Well, guess what, guys? He actually was in this movie. You heard his voice. This shows that they really just don't care. Like, they had all the Jedi's voices, like Mace Windu. I think they had Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. I forgot who. I have to search up the names. And they had Anakin. They had their voices like kind of like reach out to Rey and say like, you can do it. Like, the Force is in you. Like, Rey, we're with you. I forgot exactly what everyone said. I think Anakin said something, but I like missed it. I was just trying to pinpoint who's who, but it was very quick and hard to notice. So I'm gonna have, when I watch that again tomorrow, I'm gonna look out for that. But oh my god. You just blend Anakin in with all these Jedi. Oh, and Yoda was there too, which, why didn't we see Yoda in this movie? Like, I understand if we're not going to see the actors, but come on, Yoda's a puppet. You could have put Yoda in this movie somehow. Bruh. They just think Anakin is just another Jedi. George Lucas has always said, Star Wars is the story of Anakin Skywalker. But Disney doesn't care about George Lucas. They don't care about Anakin Skywalker because the prequels were... I can't believe like J.J. Abrams in like interviews, like, he's always saying like, this is a challenge. It's not just the end of a trilogy. It's the end of 9 movies, and it has to be a movie of its own. It has to be funny, romantic, whatever. I don't know. But like, notice he said funny, romantic. He didn't even say like a good story. Like, who cares if it's funny or romantic? Tell a good story. But like, I didn't get any prequel tie-ins in this movie. The prequel tie-in I needed was Anakin Skywalker. That would have tied it up. But you didn't put Anakin Skywalker. No, you didn't put Anakin Skywalker in the movie because he's just another Jedi. He's the same as Ahsoka and Yoda and all those. No, he's not the same as all of them. He's the goddamn chosen one. He was prophesied to bring balance to the Force. And he did that in Return of the Jedi, and you just completely retconned it by bringing Palpatine back in the final movie, which, like, well, even if you're going to retcon his prophecy, okay, like, I am completely against that, but you just do it in the final movie. Why couldn't you have done that in 7? Why couldn't you have at least told a story out of it? Like, why do you have to just do it in the final movie? Like, you just brought Palpatine back for no reason because you had no villain, and now... You brought him back. Like, if you didn't bring him back, then like, okay. But you brought him back for his voice. In Return of the Jedi, we saw Anakin as a Force ghost. It's not like he was never a Force ghost. He's a Force ghost. He could have easily just as showed up just like Luke. Imagine having a scene with Hayden Christensen and Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker. Oh my god. Like old Luke Skywalker and then young Anakin. Oh my god. And imagine young Anakin or like prequel Anakin facing off the Emperor as a Force ghost or something. You know, because we see if the Force ghost is able to catch lightsabers and throw lightning and use the Force to lift X-Wings. We see all that. So like, why can't Anakin defeat Emperor, or at least just come back just to talk to Rey? Like, I get why Luke came back. Obviously, I want Luke in this movie. Obviously, I wanted him back, but you needed Anakin. It's Anakin's story, not Luke's, not Rey's, but they made it Rey's. You ended the whole Skywalker saga with Rey? What? There was no mention of Anakin. How do you make the final shot of Rey? The final shot of the Skywalker saga is Rey Skywalker. Not Palpatine. Even though she is a Palpatine, she's Skywalker. Why is she Skywalker? I don't know. She's not really a Skywalker. Guys, forget about that ending of Return of the Jedi where the Ewoks are celebrating and you see all our heroes, Luke, Han, Leia, C-3PO, R2, Lando. Forget all that. Because you got Rey and BB-8. Thank God BB-8 was in the final shot of the Rise of Skywalker. Thank God BB-8 was in the final clip of the whole saga. Who needs Anakin when you have BB-8 and Rey? So, I saw the movie and I was pissed. I was yelling, I was screaming, I was crying. It was horrible. I was like that for a couple hours. Then, I watched a Star Wars Theory video. He was positive about it. So I was like, maybe I could, he's not changing my opinion, but, you know, it kind of made me want to see it a second time. I couldn't see it right after. I just hated it. I needed to give it some time. So, Star Wars Theory has not influenced my opinion at all. I still hate it, but I want to watch it again. And I'll make another review when I watch it again, if anything changes. But I really don't think it will. The only thing that would change is if I notice something different. But overall, the story was really bad. And it's not just because we knew the leaks. And also, another thing I don't get is if the leaks were true this whole time, why would J.J. Abrams go on Good Morning America and say that their script got leaked on eBay? Why would he admit that? Maybe because he was bracing for this, he didn't want it, when it turned out to be true. If it was bad, people would have expected it more, if it was just bad and people had no idea what they were going in for, then yeah, but this way people kind of knew because of the leaks. We're hitting 1 hour, baby. We're hitting 1 hour. We're still going. Oh, I really wanted to like this movie. I was so excited before. If you haven't seen the video where it's my final thoughts before Rise of Skywalker, make sure to go check that out. It'll be in the cards. It'll be in the description. And then you'll have, it's one of my recent videos. And then I made a video like 30 minutes before watching Rise of Skywalker. I was very excited. And I said I needed Anakin in this movie, and that's what I needed. If Anakin was in this movie, I could have looked past so much. Sure, a lot of the problems in this movie don't even have to do with Anakin not being in this movie. But, like, it could have just made me feel good somewhat. Like, it's the goddamn story of Anakin Skywalker. Like, Poe has no connection to the story. Rey is a Palpatine. Okay. It's like, I don't really care though. It's just so random. Like, how is she a Palpatine? Who was Palpatine like in a relation with? What's the deal with Finn? Why is he force sensitive? And Kylo Ren is the son of Leia and Han. You have Kylo Ren who's the son of Leia and Han, and then you have Rey who's a Palpatine. It's like, this isn't the Skywalker Saga. It's the Palpatine Saga. Even though he was only in one movie. Oh my god. Man, George Lucas didn't even attend the premiere. Dude, I can only imagine what he thinks of this mess. Oh my god. You don't get it. I tried. I was so excited. Oh my god. It's like, I can't even like be like somewhat optimistic. You know, that's the thing. Like, I can't even like pretend. I can't even like try to be somewhat. I can't like really name positives about this movie because the whole time I was so, you know, there were moments like we saw Wedge Antilles. That was very awesome. I even screamed. I was like, Wedge! It was like 3 seconds. 2 seconds. It's like, so... Put him in for 2 seconds, okay. Lando was barely in it, but I still liked Lando. Luke, it's always nice to see Luke. It's all the original characters, you know. You could do nostalgia without copying and pasting a movie. Because The Force Awakens wasn't nostalgia. It was a copy and paste. If Force Awakens was nostalgia, it would have been its own original movie with nods and references, and it would have had to the other movies, and it would have had the original characters in it. That's nostalgia. Instead, it was copy and paste. Last Jedi was total... And this one was really bad. It was really bad. I think this is worse than The Last Jedi. I'm going to flat out say it. Because it's the final one. It was just boring, too. I just didn't... I don't know. Like, I just wasn't really on the edge of my seat. It was like, eh. I mean, I was, like, on the edge of my seat, but, like... I was like forcing myself to, kind of, just because it was like the final movie and I was seeing it for the first time, and like literally as soon as the credits rolled, I was like, roll it again. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, I hated it. I was like, I just, and like I didn't like it from the first 15 minutes, but I was holding in my thoughts. I was holding it in just to give it a chance. I was like. Then when they got to Tatooine, I was like, please don't end it. Please don't end it this way. Please do something. Just bring back Anakin or just do something. But they didn't. And it's ruined. Oh my god. The Skywalker Saga. Oh my god. Oh. Now, this is opening day. Like, I'm very interested to see in what the long-term feeling is for this movie, because in a week, we'll know the feeling. Like, I mean, in a couple days, we'll know the feeling. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think day by day, it's going to get a lot more exposure, a lot more review, whether it's good or bad, and we just reached that 1 hour mark. Whether it's good or bad, we're gonna get a lot more reviews because I've been searching it up. It's overall pretty negative, but we'll see. We'll see more. Yeah, I can't wait to see what people think about this. I've been avoiding internet for the past week because I don't want to know what anybody thinks of it, and I really haven't. I haven't really heard what people thought of it at all. I've literally avoided all that. Just like I've avoided spoilers, but I didn't even want to know spoiler free what people thought of it. I didn't know anything. I was going to this movie excited with my own expectations, whatever. I didn't even come up with any predictions. I just wanted to enjoy the movie. And the only expectation I had was Anakin. I mean, sure, I had other expectations, but I'm telling you right now, if Anakin Skywalker was in this movie, I would be... Depends how they went about it, but I would have been a little more happy. His voice doesn't count because you just put him in with the other Jedi and you barely noticed it. He's you just don't even notice it. He needed to be a Force ghost. And Hayden Christensen was at a panel. He went to Star Wars Celebration. I thought, why would you just have his voice? Oh my God! Why are you having these? I don't get it. You had Obi-Wan, you had Mace Windu, you had all them. Why couldn't you bring back some Force? Why couldn't you make them Force ghosts? Oh my God! I'm so stupid. I thought that they were gonna reference Qui-Gon. Because, he did discover that Anakin was the chosen one. But, if they're not even going to mention Anakin, why would they mention Qui-Gon? I don't even think they mentioned Anakin Skywalker. I don't think they said the name Anakin Skywalker. This just goes to show... And, it pisses me off because in interviews, J.J. Abrams is asked about the midichlorians and what he thinks about that. And he's like, I wasn't a huge fan of that. Excuse my language. I don't give a what you care about, J.J. Abrams. It's part of the Star Wars saga. It's part of the legacy. You may not like midichlorians, but they're there. So don't just ignore them. Don't just ignore the prequels because you are more of an original trilogy guy. Because you may be an original trilogy fan, but you have Star Wars fans like me who like all of it. And you're oh, we have to tie in all 9 films. I thought you meant that by bringing Anakin back because he was part of the... Oh my God. Tell me what you did to tie in the prequels. Nothing. Oh my God. And why wasn't Duel of the Fates in this movie? Ah, my God. None of... Okay, I'm going to be honest. I know this might be an unpopular opinion. John Williams has the best soundtrack ever. Nothing really stood out to me. Maybe because I was just waiting for all the old music to be playing. So none of the soundtracks really stood out to me, except Ray's theme. That was very good. The renditions, I really like that. Because I was waiting for Duel of the Fates. Because I don't think I really enjoyed the other music because I was waiting for the old music. So I'll have to listen to the soundtrack. But I'll watch it again. I was just... They said that everything would be played. So I was waiting for Duel of the Fates and Battle of the Heroes during the lightsaber fight. It was a missed opportunity for... I don't know. I don't know why they I just spilled my water. They literally said that every Star Wars theme would be in this movie. It's no, it wasn't. And it's how did the Palpatine survive? Can't believe this is it. Wow. This is so bad. I cannot believe that this is... how did they end the Skywalker Saga like this? I really didn't watch that many reviews. I watched some, 2. Star Wars Theory, who viewed it positive, and then a little bit of Geeks and Gamers who viewed it negative. And, man, I cannot, like, this is definitely gonna be like really, like, there's gonna be a lot of people that dislike this movie. I'm not saying everybody has to dislike this movie. If you like this movie, good for you. But there's going to be a lot of people that dislike it because there was a lot of bad stuff. They didn't learn. They didn't learn. You could have... the truth is going to come out. Because based on like rumors and leaks and all that, there was a cut of the movie where Anakin came back. And like, that's all I needed. If Anakin came back, it wouldn't have fixed everything, but it would have been somewhat okay. How can you do this to us? I had a really bad day. Failed my driver's test. I was like really nervous, and like everybody was like yelling at me, and like I was like, I couldn't really even get excited for this movie. But then I did, because of the driver's test, and then I did find the courage to get excited for the movie, and I was really excited. And then it was just really bad. And it's over. There's no redoing, no retconning. Oh my god. Poor George. Poor George. Don't worry, George. We won't regard this as canon. Oh my god, poor George Lucas. I feel bad for the dude. His, like, look, even if you're a fan of the sequel trilogy, you gotta admit, like, his stories just... I'm Disney. This is George Lucas's stories, just... out the window. So, I'm gonna watch this movie tomorrow. I'm uploading this tomorrow on Saturday. Or maybe tonight, but I don't know. We'll see. If anything changes, if my opinion changes, if I end up loving it, I'll say so. If I end up hating it even more, I'll say so. Right now, I think it could only get worse. Honestly, in terms of like me being angry, maybe I might be able to find some good stuff, but like the overall story, wow. I cannot believe they ended it like that. Just Rey Skywalker. That's the ending. My computer's gonna die. I'm ending the video anyways, but just in case. Like Rey Skywalker, that's it. Just, yeah. Okay, well, you know, that's why it's called The Rise of Skywalker, folks. Because Rey is a Skywalker to rise. Does she even train a new generation of Jedi or what? We don't get any clarity on that. Okay. Yep. I'm done. Hopefully The Mandalorian is good next week. I think it will be. It's just it's very hard to go from this to The Mandalorian. Like, I feel like I love Mandalorian. I've loved every episode, except 4, 5, 6 are like filler episodes, which I don't like. They were good episodes individually, but they were fillers. 7, it wasn't amazing, but like it set up something amazing. Like 7 was good, really good, because it set something up to be amazing. And I know 8's gonna be amazing, but I cannot believe that this happened. I cannot believe, like, okay, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. Please leave a like, comment, share the channel, and See you guys next time on Drew Reviews. Bye-bye.